I also tailored this message for manufacturers, but I'm actually going to change this on the fly to talk to you guys, because I think what you're going to experience in your business is similar to what I've experienced in my business, and that are the roadblocks to people adopting what we do. Flow Power operate in a slightly different marketplace, but and many of you guys are trying to sell something to manufacturers. I've been doing this for 17 years. I started Smart 12 years ago. We actually were the first commercial PPA provider in Australia. I didn't know what it was. I felt like I was discovering fire. Like, what? I can actually give this stuff away and I'll just finance it and make money and I'll become a millionaire, and that hasn't happened yet. But I've got a few questions here. Just a show of hands. Who's already got solar on their premises? Actually, everyone put your hands up. Take them down after you've... okay, lots of good hands. Who here is currently thinking about it? Put your hands down. Who here doesn't believe in solar? Who's got a nuclear power station in the backyard? Okay, very good. Well, so everyone else, this is for you. Everyone else can leave, and then everyone would leave. Please don't leave. But it's about roadblocks, because Australia has done extremely well. We've got up to 40% of homes. It's the highest number in the world of homes have solar. But consistently, and to this day, the very biggest roadblock that you are going to face as a technology provider is, I don't know who to trust. So many people come up to me, who do I trust? Who am I going to get my solar from? Who am I going to get my hydrogen from? I don't know who to trust. And it's basically a constant uphill battle to diversify your brand from every other brand. It doesn't take much to start a solar company and get a website and steal some images or buy them off Google and appear to be knowledgeable. In the background here, you'll see some of our projects. We've always focused on behind-the-meter solutions, and contrary to your point, do put in solar. Exactly to your point, Ron, you got to do it yourself. Quite often our PPAs are now cheaper than the network costs alone. So we're sometimes down as low as 6 cents a kilowatt hour for a behind-the-meter solar power system, which is offsetting, the 10-cent network fees and other taxes, let alone the energy component. So Fraser's Property Group here, they came to us with a very complex project. They've been working with one of our key competitors, and it wasn't until we did some detailed design work where we could prove that we actually understood what we were talking about. And so the thing is, you've got to be able to get time. If you're trying to explain what you do, you need time to be able to prove that you are an expert in your field and you're not just one of the fly-by-nighters. So we understand and we work with various stakeholders. We appreciate that there's a tenant in that building. We need to show our buyer that we actually understand what their business is about. They do not want interruptions to their power. They do not want safety issues. They want to know that the system has been engineered correctly, that there is QA behind it. So when you're looking, or when you are talking, I'm speaking to you guys as people selling this stuff now, you need to be able to talk about your longevity, your track record, your good references as a priority, because the biggest problem is people don't know who to trust. Complexity. We all talk about the energy industry. Everyone in this room understands a kilowatt hour and a KVA and a demand charge and all of that sort of stuff. It's about, we have to demystify the complex, and we need to be able to find a language. And recently I was in a meeting with one of our key clients. We've been looking after Bunnings for about 10 years. We've done 140 sites. We put in some batteries for them as well. And we're talking about EV chargers. And this was a very strange phenomenon. There were 7 people in the room. We finished our talk, excellent, fantastic. We talked all about EV chargers. And then I said, so just out of interest, there's 7 people here, what are your motivations? Out of 7 people, 7 different motivations. I'd answered 3 of them, thinking I knew what they needed to hear. And so we need to understand who's in the room and demystify the complex. And that's what Smart Commercial Solar has done very well. The perceived high upfront cost. Now, I started Smart based on PPAs. I called it pay as you go. High upfront cost is just the residual of people's experience that they've had over the last 10 to 15 years. When they inquired 3 years ago for a solar system and it seemed too expensive for them, 3 years ago, a lot has changed in this industry. Solar panels have come down, even in the last 2 years, by 50%. Batteries are coming down quickly, not to the same levels I saw on some earlier slides, but definitely around about 50% over the last 2 years as well. Whilst that's slowing down, it's starting to become financially viable. And there's no reason that you need to pay cash. I will happily finance your system. And the ultimate question that you need to ask your clients is, do you want to pay less for your energy, or do you want to keep paying the energy bill that you've got now? And there's pretty much no one I've ever met who said, yeah, I want to keep paying as much as I'm paying now. It's about I can meet your financial needs, and you don't need to pay for it. Do you want to buy a solar system? No one actually wants to buy a solar system. Unfortunately, that's the best return on investment that there currently is. At around about 30% return on investment, it's unbelievable. Our PPAs, we sponsored about, probably about $120 million worth of projects now in Australia. We've returned a solid 7.2% over 10 years for all those investors, which, when interest rates were low, that was really good. Technology risk. And this was one of the other things about PPAs that I thought, this is amazing. When I started in solar 17 years ago, no one believed that the product worked. It doesn't work. I don't trust these solar panels. These Chinese-made solar panels. To Ron's point, one factory that we deal with in China, one factory, produces 6 gigawatts of solar panels per year. Does anyone know what Australia's daytime load is in the middle of the day in gigawatts? You should know. Come on.
Yeah, up to mid-30s?
25. It's about 25 gigawatt. All I need is that factory to run for 5 years, give us all the solar panels out of that, and we'll meet all of Australia's daytime needs from one factory.
That's a small factory, by the way.
That is a small factory. I've been there, and it's bloody big, and it's small. But the technology risk is washed out by a long way. And this is same with your products that you're going to sell to your people. A lot of this technology that we're talking about, that you're talking about today and tomorrow, you've solved a lot of problems. And by financing it and trusting yourself to finance it and to back your product, we can get rid of the fear of technology risk. Now, we're really talking about how we get decisions made. How do we remove roadblocks? The biggest roadblock is one of the biggest roadblocks is other priorities. Businesses have always got something else. This is not core business. Energy, historically, has not been the core business of the businesses that we talk to. But now it's in the top 3 overheads, at least the top 5 overheads. It is core business, guys. If you are not caring about the major inputs to your business, then you're missing the trick. So priorities take precedence, but we had an interesting case recently where the customer said, we're not interested in doing it, the returns aren't good enough. And this was a production manager or something like that. And I said, take me to your CEO, take me to your leader. And he looked at me like I was an alien. And I said, take me to your leader. There is no leader on earth that doesn't want to get a 30% return on investment or cash pot, not spend any money and still save 20% on your energy bill. And we actually got in front of that leader eventually. And he was like, mate, why have we not done this? And we got this low-level, no offense to low-level managers, but we got this low-level thinker, actually, is the problem. And he thought other things were more important than his top 3 overheads. The right time. They say that ancient Chinese proverb, when was the best time to install solar panels? 5 years ago. When's the next best time to install solar panels? Today. It's actually said about trees, and it's 20 years, but that's all right. Same. The amount of people that you speak to when you're trying to sell your technology, or the amount of people that I've spoken to over the years, it would be in the hundreds, where I've met them, we've talked about solar, and then 5 years later, I'm still talking to them. I'm saying, you should be putting in this solar, you should be doing demand management, now is the time for batteries. I can guarantee you would have paid that system off by now. And if you're getting a 20 or 30% return, and you look at the net present value of that return, now is the right time. And one of the ones that we get quite often, which is unsuitable rooftops. Australian buildings, especially the large format warehouses, are built like balloons. They're strong enough to hold themselves up and not much else. We don't care about that anymore. If you've got a car park, we'll do this to it. We build solar car park structures. We can put in ground mounts. You can speak to Flow and get an offsite VPP. You can generate in one space and send it to your factory over here, or you can send it off that factory roof and send it over to your office over here. There's so many options to not have to worry about a rooftop anymore. And the biggest roadblock of all is just our mindsets. There's always going to be perceptions. The biggest roadblock is getting the time to get through those perceptions. The political will to make a decision. Definitely noticed since COVID that decisions are now being made by committees more than individuals. You need to understand everyone on the committee. Does anyone know the definition of committee? When one man's stupidity will not suffice. So we sell to committees now. It sucks. But I would love to answer any questions that you have. I like the most complex one. Give me the hardest one you can think of. I may not be able to solve it, but I'll take it on notice. And I look forward to sharing a clean, cheap, abundant energy future with you.